Good afternoon. In today's session, we have to study about the dynamics in motor and the load. In previous session, we have studied about the DC machines. DC machines are the electromechanical energy converter. It means what? They can convert electrical energy into mechanical or the vice versa. Lakhan and Sunil, please mute yourself because I will get disturbed. So please mute yourself. Okay. If you will face any issue at that time, you can unmute and ask. Otherwise, be on mute. Okay. Yeah. In previous session, we have studied about the DC machines, DC motor and the DC generator. If there is a DC generator, at that time it converts mechanical energy into a electrical. And if there is a DC motor, at that time DC motor do vice versa of a DC generator. It means what? It can convert electrical energy into a mechanical energy. Then we have studied about the constructions of the DC motor and DC generator. Both are having the same constructions. It means what? DC generator and DC motors have the same general constructions. Both are having the outer covering that we are calling as a yoke. Mahesh Kodekar, please just wait for a minute. I am putting message to Mahesh because he has not joined the audio, so he will not get the things. Okay. So you can see here, this is the constructions for the DC. Mahesh Kodekar, I am muting yourself. Again, you are doing unmuting. Please don't disturb the class. Okay. There is no need of the video. Okay. So this is the constructions diagram for the DC motor and DC generator. The outer covering we are calling as the Vikas. Please mute yourself. My 5 minutes will go to only tell you about mute and unmute. Please don't disturb the class. Okay. You can see here, this is the constructions diagram for the DC motor and the DC generator. The outer covering we are calling it is as a yoke. It will give support and protection to the assembly of the DC motor. Then there are stationary and the rotationary part in the DC motor and the DC generator. I have given here name DC generator constructions, but you can draw the same diagram in the DC motor because both are having the same constructions, only working is different. Both are calling as a electromechanical energy converter, but DC generator will convert mechanical into a electrical, and DC motor जो है वो क्या करता है, it will convert electrical energy into mechanical. Then what we are saying, there is a stationary part. Stationary means what? The stator or the stationary part of the DC machine will consist of the part which will not rotate, which will remain constant, which will remain stationary at the working of DC motor and the DC generator. Then just wait for a minute. Then what we are saying here, if you see on the armature winding, we are doing the field winding on these poles, and these poles are inside the yoke, and these poles are calling as a stationary part because they will not rotate. The poles are only used to produce the magnetic flux because we know when we are using the armature, at that time we are doing the armature winding, or we can say the field winding we are doing on the poles, and this winding we are doing in the series path, but they are in the parallel. You can see here we are doing on one pole, it is in a series, but we are connecting to remaining poles in the parallel path. So what we can say, pole are the stationary or the stator of the DC machine, DC generator and the DC motor. Then we can see here we are using here the circular part. These all are the rotationary part. So what we can say, the commutator, brushes, armature conductors, these all are working as the rotor in the DC machines because these will rotate. And if you see on these armature, we are putting the air gap. This air gap we are putting for the cooling purpose. So we have already seen these constructions in the DC generator and the DC machines. Then we have studied about the EMF equations. These are nothing but I have given the short descriptions for the DC motor, DC generator. I will provide these PPTs or by all videos and notes on classroom, and also I will provide in WhatsApp group also at the end of our यूनिट. जैसे यूनिट फिनिश होता है मैं तब व्हाट्सएप में शेयर करती हूँ और डे टू डे आई एम शेयरिंग ऑन द क्लासरूम. यू गाइज कैन see there. Okay, then we have studied these the constructions. Then we have studied how to define, how to derive the EMF equations of the DC machines. Both we will get in the DC generator and the DC motor. P is nothing but the number of poles in the machines. Phi is flux per pole in the Weber. Total number of armature conductor are denoting by letter V. Speed we can denote by the capital N. If that speed is in the rotation per minute, and if you are writing small n का meaning होता है speed of armature in the rotation per second. Then we can call A as a number of parallel paths in the armature winding. According to this, we will get the equations for the EMF E equal to Np pi upon 60, because we are calculating that EMF when we will take time in the seconds. But we know when we are calculating capital N, at that time we are taking speed in the minute. So what we can do here, we can convert that time minute into a seconds. So we will get EMF E equal to Np phi upon 60. N we know. N is nothing but speed. P is number of pole. Phi is nothing but flux. All these concepts we have already seen. I am just revising because we have taken the 3 to 4 days gap. Okay. Then we have studied about the torque equations. We know EMF will get introduced according to which formula, according to which rule, according to the Fleming right hand rule. We will get the direction for current, and EMF will get introduced according to the Faraday's law, because we have seen about the constructions for the DC motor. We know we are using armature as a conductor and we are doing the field winding, and we know when conductor will cut by the magnetic flux, at that time EMF get introduced according to the Faraday's law. ये Faraday ने derive किया है, तो हमें पता है EMF इंट्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, EMF का इक्वेशन हमने डिराइव किया है. देन वी हैव डिराइव बैक EMF, because we know when we call DC machine as a DC motor, at that time induced EMF will behave opposite with respect to the supply voltage. So we can call that EMF as the back EMF, and we can calculate back EMF for whole our DC motor. And if we are calculating for single, we can see here, if we are calculating the EMF for one conductor, you will get this equation. But you are calculating the EMF for parallel path, which we have done parallel path by using the armature conductor. तो हम ये यदि एक पोल के लिए निकाल रहे हैं, if you are calculating for that single conductor, single pole, you will get Np phi upon 60. And if you are calculating for whole DC motor, at that time you will get Np phi upon 60 into Z upon A. This is nothing but the cross-sectional area. You will get this equation. You can see here. You will get The number of conductor connected in series in each parallel path will be Z by A. So you can take EMF equal to NP upon 60 into Z by A. If that EMF will be in DC generator, you can call this EMF as a generated EMF. And if this EMF will be used, will be introduced in the DC motor, at that time we can call that EMF as a back EMF. Then we have studied about the what why back EMF is necessary. We have seen that concept because we know when conductor cuts the magnetic flux according to the Faraday's law, EMF will get introduced, and we can derive the direction according to the Fleming right hand rule. So we know why actually back EMF will be needed in the DC motor, because back EMF will represent the portion of supply voltage which multiplied by the current equals the mechanical work produced. The back EMF plays self-regulating role by limiting the current and the energy flow through the circuit. If you see this circuit, and if you are calculating the value of current and value of power, you can calculate value of current according to the Ohm's law. You will get these equations. If you are calculating power, power equal to V into I. You are taking V is nothing but battery, we are taking E, so E into I. If you calculate here, so at that time what will happen? All that power will go for heating. So there will be no amount of power will get left to do mechanical work. As per that requirement, we will be needed the back EMF. Because if there is no concept of the back EMF in the DC motor, at that time when you will give the energy supply, when you will give the power supply, at that time all amount of power will be gone for the heating. So there will be no amount of power will be left. So there is a need of the back EMF. There will be question like explain the significance of the back EMF in the DC motor. Sometimes they will give the question like explain the significance of the back EMF in the DC machine. At that time you guys are supposed to understand back EMF, that concept will come in the DC motor, not in DC generator. Okay, then we have seen about the torque equations. Torque acting on a body is defined as it is the product of the force acting on body and the perpendicular distance. This is the perpendicular distance of a line of action of the force from the axis of rotation. It means what? ये जो armature winding है, ये जो armature है, that will rotate. So from the center, that distance we are calling as the arc. We are taking that is the perpendicular distance. So torque you will get equal to F into R into sine theta. Theta is nothing but angle between force and that perpendicular distance. So you will get the torque value. Then we have seen when we are giving here KVL law. When we are applying KVL law, you will get the value of E. You will get the value of the power. Value of power, you will get IA into EB. But we know mechanical power that rotates the armature can be taken as a torque and speed. So we can take Pm equal to W into T. W is nothing but angular speed. You can take W equal to 2 pi n. The small n is nothing but this is the speed calculated in rotation per second. You can see here I have written here RPS, rotation per second, or capital N, rotation per minute. So we can calculate mechanical power equal to 2 pi nt. What we can do, we can equate these equations. ये जो हमें equations यहाँ से मिला है circuit diagram से, you will get that equation from the circuit. IA into A, you will get equal to IA EB plus IA square RA. You can equate that equation, you can rearrange, you can simplify, you will get Pm equal to IA into EB. But we know mechanical power equal to angular speed into torque. So you can equate these two equations. At that time, you will get torque equal to EB IA upon 2 pi n. On that equation, you are supposed to calculate the numericals. Then we have studied about the types of the DC motors. Separately excited DC motor, self-excited DC motor. Separately excited DC motor means what? If we are giving separate DC power supply to the field winding and to the armature winding. If you are not giving power supply separately to the armature and the field winding, you are giving power supply to the DC motor and that will provide the power supply to the field winding. At that time, you can say that as a self-excited DC motor because field winding को हम power supply नहीं दे रहे हैं, field winding को जो power supply मिल रहा है वो DC motor से मिल रहा है. Then we have studied about the shunt self-excited DC motor. We are calling shunt because we are taking here field winding perpendicular with the armature. Then we can apply here, KCL. KCL law states that at any node, incoming current is equal to the outgoing. According to this, total current will get divided into the current flowing through the armature, current flowing through the field winding. So you will get IT is nothing but total current equal to IA plus IM. Then we have studied the working for that shunt winding. You will get the equations for the value of voltage, power supply by applying the KVL. Then we have seen you will get the equations for the power. Power is nothing but V into RE. You will get power equal to PM plus IA square RA. Then we have seen about the concept of load torque. Torque has main two concepts, load torque and the acceleration. Then we have seen which type of load we are using at the load in the DC motor and the DC generator, because we know when we are using the DC generator, at that time we can connect lots of devices on the DC motor. We can connect our AC, we can connect our fan, we can connect our desktop, we can connect our laptop, any electronic circuit which will require the power supply. So what we can say, we can see there are the different types of load. We are calling this load as the electrical load because they are using the electrical energy, because they are using the power supply, they are using the EMF. All are having this different name, but all are having the same name. So what we can say, the electrical load is a device that consumes electrical energy in the form of current, and that can convert that energy into another form of energy. That energy can be heat, that can be work, that can be light. So what we can say, by using the electrical load, electrical current can be converted into heat, can be converted into light, or it can be converted into any work done. We can see one by one. Resistive load, it means what? If we are connecting resistor at the load, which will convert electrical energy, which will convert current into a thermal energy. We can call oven, we can call toaster, all these space heater, coffee maker are nothing but the resistive load. Then we have seen about the inductive, where the concept of the inductor, magnetic flux, these we are calling as the inductive load. We can take example as a fan, vacuum cleaner, dishwasher. Already we have seen these things. Then we have seen about the capacitor. You can take example as our fan also, because it is also using the capacitor. Then we have studied about the agriculture, domestic. Then we have seen about the industrial. Domestic means which electrical energy supply we are using at our home. We can call these all are as a domestic. All, if you see, we are using at industrial level also. So we can say these are as the industrial loads. If we are using industrial load which are having the small scale industry or which are having the heavy large scale industry, these all are we are calling as the industrial. Then we have studied about the commercial load which we are using in the offices, shops. These all electrical circuits we are using by using the load which we can call as the commercial load. Then we have seen about the agriculture load. It means what? motors and pumps that are used in the irrigation system. We can call these as a agricultural load. We can use these to supply the water for farming come under this category. Then we have to see about the types of loads in the power system. So we are using these loads at our home. We can use these loads at offices. We can use these loads at larger industry also. So we can see according to the load nature, there are two types of the load. And according to the phase, also there are the two types of load. So firstly, we will see about the according to the load nature. So there are two types of the load, linear and non-linear. Linear means what? If we are using the load which will give value of voltage that will be linearly changes with respect to changes in the current. At that time we can say this as a linear load. It means what? Linear loads like a transformer, motors, which will follow Ohm's law. So according to Ohm's law, you will get V equal to I into R. It means what? Voltage will change linearly with change in a current. Or we can say their current will change linearly with respect to change of applied voltage. At that time, we can say this as a linear load. Then we have to see about the non-linear load. Non-linear load means what? Non-linear load where value of current that will be not linear with the applied voltage. It means what? If we are increasing applied voltage at that time, current will not increase. It will not follow. It will sometime decrease, sometime increase. It will be not linear with the non-linear. It will be current value will be non-linear with the value of applied voltage. Or we can say here the non-linear load example you can take as a switching regulator in which current is not linearly changes with the given applied voltage. It takes lesser current as applied voltage increases. It means what? It will be opposite. It will be opposite with respect to the इनपुट वोल्टेज. मतलब करंट का वैल्यू क्या हो रहा है, इनपुट वोल्टेज का वैल्यू बढ़ रहा है तो करंट का वैल्यू कम हो रहा है. Opposite. At that time you can say there is a non-linear load. And if it is a linear, at that time you can say if output current will follow with the value of applied voltage, at that time you can say that type of load as a linear load. Then according to the phases, there are the single phase load and the three phase load. So single phase load means what? The load which we can use at a domestic level. This we can call as the single phase load. And the phase which we cannot use at a domestic level, which we can use at a industrial level. This we can say as a three-phase loads. Now we have to see about the dynamics of a motor and the load combinations. That means what? If we are using the DC motor, at that time what will happen? It will take electrical energy, due to which motor will start to rotate, and that will convert electrical energy into a mechanical. It means what? हम उसको electrical energy दे रहे हैं, हम उसको voltage दे रहा है, वो rotate हो रहा है. So what we can say, we can connect the load at the motor. We can connect the load at the output of motor. You can see here the circuit diagram, equivalent motor load system. This is the motor. T is nothing but torque. T1 is nothing but the value of the torque which taken by the load, मतलब load torque. And this is the torque for the motor. You can take T or you can take as the torque. जैसे टो का symbol है, मतलब slipping line, then you can take ulta J, opposite J. You can take toe also. I can show you. I have not taken here. Okay. This is the symbol for torque. You can take torque equal to this sign. ये you can see here flipping line and ulta J. You can take or you can take capital T also. So what we can say, when you will give the electrical energy to the motor, at that time motor will start to rotate. And we know we can connect load to the motor. So when motor will rotate, at that time load will also start to rotate. And the speed of motor can be different or can be same with the value of speed for the load, because it will depend on the value of weight of the load. If it is having the low weight, at that time it will start easily, so it will be having higher amount of speed. So what we can say, when we are giving the electrical energy to the motor, at that time motor will start to rotate, and we know motor will be connected to the load. So load will also start to rotate, and the speed of motor may be different from the speed of load. So in the translation motor, the position of body changes from point to point in a speed. The speed of load may be different from the motor. If the load has different parts, their speed may be different. Some part of rotor will rotate while other may go through the translation motion. It means what? These all things are depending on what amount of load we are taking here. So we can take J equal to polar moment of the inertia of motor load referred to the motor shaft. Okay, you can see here, J is nothing but it is the polar moment of inertia of motor load connected to the motor shaft. We can calculate J as a kg meter square. W, we know W is nothing but angular speed. We are taking Wm. So this is the instantaneous angular speed or a velocity of the motor shaft. Speed and velocity both are having the same meaning. What is the difference? Only speed is not having the direction and velocity is a vector term. Speed जो है, it is a scalar quantity and velocity is a vector quantity because it is having the direction. So we can say Wm is a angular velocity of a motor which is having the direction, and we can calculate angular speed as a radian per second. Radian per seconds, because we know speed is nothing but we can calculate the number of rotation per minute, but we are taking in a second, so radian per second. Radian is a unit. T is nothing but torque, so T is the instantaneous value of torque for the DC motor. We can calculate torque by using the unit Newton minute, Nm. Tau 1, it is nothing but the value of load torque referred to as motor shaft. We can take by unit N. Yeah. The torque equations. By using these descriptions, these I have given which terms we are using in the equations. So what we are saying, when we are giving the electrical energy, at that time motor will start to rotate, and as motor will rotate, load will again start to rotate, but the speed can be different. So we have to check. So how we can check? You can see here the torque equations of the motor load system. It means what? When we are having load with respect to the motor, at that time we can calculate torque by using these mathematical equations. Tau minus tau 1 equal to derivative of Jwm with respect to time dt. We know J is nothing but polar moment of inertia of the motor. So we can calculate moment of inertia in the term of kg meter square. So we can calculate here tau minus tau 1 equal to derivative of Jwm. So we can calculate again. We know moment of inertia is a constant term. So we can take as it is. Then we know Wm is nothing but if you are calculating two terms, which are in multiplication, and we are taking the derivative. So we can take first term as it is, derivative of second term. Second time you can take second term as it is, and you can take derivative of first term. So I am taking here j as a constant, so we can take in outside, and you can take derivative of wm upon dt. Again we are considering angular velocity constant term, then we are taking dj upon dt, derivative of the first term. Derivative d of dt of uv equal to u dv by dt plus v du by dt. According to this rule, you can calculate derivative mathematically, you will get this equation. So equation 1 is applicable to the inertia such as mine winder, such as rail driver, industrial robots. So for drivers with the constant inertia, if you are calculating the torque, you will get tau minus tau 1 equal to j dwm dt, because we are taking here dj by dt equal to 0. We are taking that value as a constant term, as a 0, you will get this equations. Or you will get, if you are rearranging this equation, you will get t equal to t1 plus j dwm dt. If you are taking this t1 to this side, तो addition में आ जाएगा. So what we can say, for the driver with the constant inertia, if you are taking j as a constant term, तो क्या हो जाएगा, तुम्हें इतना ही इक्वेशन मिलेगा. Because we are taking j as a constant term, तो ये वैल्यू 0 हो जाएगी. So you will get only this equation, t minus tau 1 equal to j dwm upon dt. I have written here. So in the above equation, motor torque. Motor torque is nothing but tau is considered as applied torque, and the load torque is nothing but T1. We can call it is as a resisting torque. So this is the applied torque and this is the resisting torque. Equation 2 shows that torque developed by motor is counterbalanced by the load torque and the dynamic torque, because j dwm upon dt is nothing but the dynamic torque. So torque component is called as the dynamic torque because it is present only during the transient operations, because it will considered only when the speed of driver is varied, and when the driver will be with constant inertia, you will get this equations. So we are calling this as a dynamic torque. So what we can say, the acceleration on the or the deceleration of the driver mainly depends on the value of load torque. Is it greater or it is less? Because we are getting the equations d minus t1 equal to j dwm by dt. If the value of torque is greater than the load torque, at that time driver will be accelerating, because you will get t minus tau 1 is greater than 0. At that time this value dwm upon dt will be greater than 0. So we can say, when the value of torque is greater than the value of the torque of the load, at that time driver will be accelerating, and if the value of torque is less than load torque, at that time you can see driver will be deaccelerating. So we can say that driver is deaccelerating, and particularly it will come to the rest. So we have finished here about the dynamics of motor and the load combination, how the motor and load are related with each other. When we are giving the electrical energy, at that time motor will start to rotate and load will also start to rotate, but the speed of load will be maybe different from the motor. So we can take torque equal to speed, torque equal to torque of a motor, and we can take tau 1 equal to torque of the load. So you will get the equations tau minus tau 1 equal to j dwm upon dt. W is the angular speed of the motor. J is nothing but inertia, moment of inertia. So we will get this equation. And if the value of torque is greater than the load torque, at that time you can say driver will be accelerating. And if the value of torque is less than the load torque, we can say the driver is not accelerating, it is the deaccelerating. Now I am taking your attendance. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask me. Thank you. You guys can leave now. We can finish our today's lecture here. Okay. I'm concluding our today's session. Okay. Thank you.